Is that another video? Well, yes it is. And today I'm going to be showing you guys how I take care of my 3-week-old quails. Really, this is how I take care of 2.5-week-old to like 5 or 6-week-old quails. This is what I do. So first of all, you got a tank. Always with quails, button quails, specifically, you got a tank. Need it for the feet. It's better than a cage. It's way better than a cage. Don't even try cages. Anyways, I know this tank is kind of dirty, but bear with me. I did clean it. The quails are messy. So, and also I know that the background is white, and really white is not the best. Also, you need to use bedding. So always use bedding. I use bedding on my quails. This is the bedding that I use on 2 to 6-week-old quails. After that, if I'm gonna keep the quails and I switch over to dirt, eco earth, or repti soil. If I'm gonna sell the quails, and I just keep them on bedding, on wood shavings, because if I keep them on wood shaving, it's just better if I'm gonna sell the quails to just keep them on wood shaving. So the quails in this video are quails from the last video. So the unboxing video, those eggs, some of these chicks will be from those, and then some will be from the mom at the end of the video. And I had to take them away from the mom because they weren't really being nice to the baby. So I just decided to combine everybody together and raise everybody in a DIY brooder, which is, I'm calling this a DIY brooder. I also use hay. So I like to mix it up, put hay and wood shaving. So the hay, it just helps them get enrichment, you know what I mean? Like, they're in a tank, that gets cleaned every week. For chicks, I typically don't add that much hay. I just add a little bit, like you see here. Because again, I have to clean this every 2 to 3 days. So I'm not really about to put a lot of hay in there. Just a bit for them to, dig around and, try out or whatever. Now I also, I use a water bowl and a food bowl. The water bowl, I give it to them a little bit more shallow than the food bowl because they are still young, and if they get really wet, they can get sick. I just use a shallow bowl for the water and a deeper bowl for the food. As for right now, as they get older, I use a bigger bowl. So you have your bedding now. You have to add places for your chicks to hide. As you can see, these were wet. I dried them out, and I added them to the tank. So you really should add hiding spots, because I add a heat light. It's important to add a heat light. I don't really use a brooder. I make my own. I have reptiles, so I just have lights, and fish tanks hanging around. So I made my own type of brooder. So for the chicks to hide from the heat, I like to add like plant like pots and stuff like that. It just helps them get away and not be in the heat all the time. Now you want to make sure that you get bedding in the pots, because again, they do use the bathroom, and it's just easier to clean the pots every 2 to 3 days when it has not a lot of feces in it. You still clean it good, but it's just, it takes a little bit of weight off your shoulders. Now, I like to add more hiding spots. Button quails like to tunnel. They like hiding in tunnels. They like exploring tunnels. So I take a paper towel carton and I cut it, and then I add it to the tank, and that just helps them. It helps them hide, and it also gives them enrichment. So that's why I add that. Now after this is added, this is pretty much what I add for these guys. I might add a pot or 2 more, or a bigger pot. I'm not really too sure, but I do switch it up every couple times that I clean. I switch it up a bit so it's a little bit different, and so they feel a little bit more comfortable, or they not always in the same spot. So I add the water now and the food, And then, you know, I'll add the light, and that's really how I take care of my button quails. You don't have to take care of your button quails this way, but this is the best way for me personally. And if you want to try out this way, again, fish tank. It doesn't have to be plant pots. It can be whatever, as long as it has a big enough opening that they can get in there, stuff like that. Also, guys, a lid is really essential here because button quails do fly. They can fly up and they can fly for a good distance. So if you live in a house or an apartment and you know your quails are in a room that has windows, make sure that you have lids. Trust me, lids, or else you're gonna come into your room one day and there's gonna be little quails running around your room, and you do not want that. Especially when they're this small, you do not want that. So you want to always have a lid and a heat bulb. I use a 45 watt to 60 watt, but I use two different bulbs. I use a daylight bulb that I buy from the hardware store, which is this one, and I also use a red bulb, again from the hardware store, and that I use for the night, or sometimes when it's really cold I turn both of them on at the same time. Now I'm using gloves because I had just before I started filming this, I had just painted, and I also before that I handled baby quails that I have in the enclosure next to it, which you might be able to see in the corner. So I'm using gloves to pick up the quails, which I'll add into the tank now. And my quails are clean. There's no parasites, no nothing, there's no mites, nothing like that. But I just like to make sure that I don't, like, you know, when you have a lot of animals, you want to make sure that you clean your hands after you handled everything, just in case. But these are breeders. These are some of the babies from the last video where I did the unboxing, and then where I show the mom. The tuxedo babies, those are from the mom. One of the white babies, those are from the mom, and one of the black babies, those are also from the mom. The other ones are from the incubator unboxing video, from the eggs that I got. And let me tell you something, not all the eggs hatched. I accidentally broke a couple, and then a lot of the eggs were in really bad condition, like they just didn't make it. Like, they just didn't make it. I gave a couple of them a couple extra days, didn't make it. A lot of them didn't really develop. It was yeah. So I'm kind of glad that they gave me 30 eggs when I paid for 12 for that. But yeah, these are the chicks, and see, as you can see, they like it. They like to use the tunnels. They like to have different enrichment, and it's better to have, honestly, a smaller kind of space when they're this age, because where you can control the heat inside of the enclosure. That's very important. You have to be able to control the heat inside of the enclosure. And over the top of the enclosure, I do add a hoodie on the top to make sure that it's warm enough. It's always warm, because again, I live in New York and it's kind of cold right now. It's kind of brick outside, so always make sure that the chicks are warm enough. And the food that I use is crumble layer for them right now. I also use chick starter. I use dove and pigeon food, budgie mix, canary mix. As they get older, I'll give them proteins like mealworms and stuff like that, but they're too young. You have to wait a couple weeks for that. Thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned for the next one.